Hey everyone, welcome back to Beauty in the Chaos. So, I decided to do something fun. Like I said, this is meant for middle schoolers. So, for all you middle schoolers, this is for you. Now, I asked my edgers, my middle school kids who come to youth group, to write any questions they have down in this lovely little basket. And they wrote them down, they put them in the basket at youth group, and I'm here to answer them. Now, the thing about these questions is I did tell them that they could be whatever they want. They could be deeply theological or absolutely random. And I did read ahead of time these questions because I wanted to make sure that I was going to answer them theologically correct. If there are some deeply theological things, but some of them are pretty funny too. So we're going to get started right away, and I'm going to answer these questions from the lovely basket. Woo! Okay, so the first one. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to punch the microphone. What's the first one? What is the largest amount of asphalt you have consumed in an hour? Well, that's a funny question. When I first read that question, I actually didn't know what asphalt was. I had no idea. But I quickly learned that that is what asphalt is. It's the thing on the ground that they make the roads with. To answer your question, I have never eaten any sort of asphalt. I don't even skateboard, so I've never just like accidentally ate it when I wiped out skateboarding. On a deeply theological point, God doesn't want us to consume things that hurt our bodies, and I don't think asphalt is natural. That is not meant for human consumption. So God would not want us to eat asphalt. No way would not want us to eat that. So to answer your question, I never have, and God doesn't want anyone to. So there's that answer. I hope it was good. Okay, the next one. Explain photosynthesis. Well, there's two ways I can look at this question. The first is, what is actually photosynthesis? It has to do with flowers and trees. It's a beautiful thing that God put in nature and created nature in this way that it's how plants eat, how they convert energy. So they take the sun, and through photosynthesis, they make energy to live. Now, if this is the context of what I think it is, there is an inside joke that has been going on for a while since I pretty much first started here at St. Greg's. And it's photosynthesis. Now, when I first started at St. Greg's, I took high schoolers to a camp called Cove Crest. Cove Crest is a week-long camp in Georgia. It's super Catholic, it's long, and it's wonderful. Where photosynthesis comes from is actually from one of the nights we were there. I was exhausted. I was very tired. And I was not hearing what people were asking me correctly. So we were in a group powwow, church powwow. We were just like at the end of the night. It had to be like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I was tired. It was after adoration, so we all were exhausted. And we all were sitting in a circle and talking, and the kids were asking me questions. And one kid asked me straight up a question, or I think it was just a question. And I looked at him and I said, photosynthesis? Like, I literally thought he just said the words photosynthesis. So then from that moment on, anytime I don't know what someone's saying or whatever, they just say photosynthesis at me. So that's where that came from. And it's funny because some of the core members on Edge were actually there when that happened. So they oftentimes bring up photosynthesis because it's just a funny memory that we have from camp. One of the things I love about camp is the fact that there are so many fun memories. I mean, I've gone to Georgia 5, 6 times. I don't remember how many exactly, 5 or 6. I've gone as a teen, I've gone as a chaperone, and I've gone as a youth minister. But each time I have very significant memories that I will hold on to for like ever. So, photosynthesis was one of them. And apparently all the kids hung on to it because I still hear about it 5 years later. So that's photosynthesis. And it's trees, but it's also Nicole being Nicole. So there you go. That's photosynthesis. All right, next question. What is my favorite type of seafood? Okay. Preference the context of this a little bit. I'm actually pescatarian, so I don't eat meat. It's a type of vegetarian. The joke I always say is when I say pescatarian, everyone's like, so you're Presbyterian? I'm not Presbyterian. I'm just pescatarian. I just only eat seafood. I do eat cheese and other animal byproducts, I guess they call it. I just can't eat meat. I'm kind of like allergic to it. It makes me very sick. So that's kind of where that comes from. My favorite type of seafood, well, the ones that I have all the time is shrimp is one of my favorite, and salmon. Shrimp and salmon are kind of my two staple seafoods that I eat all the time. Now, if I really want to splurge on myself, lobster is the way to go for me, okay? Some weird ones I've definitely had like shark and eel, octopus. Yeah, I've had some weird things, but my favorites are shrimp and salmon. I could eat those every day, all day. They're pretty fabulous. And they're really easy to cook. People think seafood's really hard to cook. It's not that hard. And your diet can be supplemented by just seafood. So that's a fun fact about me. So y'all know. All right, next one. I'm gonna leave this one. Yeah, because we're gonna start with the silly ones and then get a little bit more serious. How much could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, let's talk about a little woodchuck. Valid question. I don't think I've ever seen a woodchuck chuck any type of wood. But I'm sure if God intended them to do that, it would be a lot. It's all about, I guess, God's intention for his creation. God didn't intend for woodchucks to throw things, so they don't. Do I know what would happen if he could? Or the woodchuck could chuck things? I don't know. I'm not God. I didn't really create that creature. But it would be interesting. Imagine just like walking down the street and you see just woodchucks chucking wood across the street. Just straight up throwing it across the street. That would be, I don't know. I'd be a little freaked out by that. But you know what? You do you, woodchucks. You do you. So that's fun. That's like an existential question. That is a funny one that always starts with, but you know. Okay, my next one is my favorite weekday. I've never been posed that question before. I don't really have an answer, to be honest. I mean, I could do the cliche and say Thursdays because I get to go Edge Kids. I love Edge. I don't know if y'all know that, but I love youth group. So Thursdays are pretty great. I don't really get like a day off from work, so I can't say like, this is my favorite day because it's my day off. I don't really get days off. I guess Saturdays are my closest days to days off where I can kind of chill and relax, except for when we have lock-ins and fiat and things like that. So Thursdays and Saturdays. Yeah, those are my two favorite. Okay? Well, we're going to say that's right. All right, so now we're going to go into more serious ones. Okay, so this next one. Why don't people normally see Jesus? Okay, when I first read this, I was a little confused about what this person was trying to ask me. Now, there's a couple ways that we can look at this question. One, literally, why don't we see... Excuse me. Literally, why don't we see Jesus? So, like, why isn't Jesus just walking around saying, hey, how you doing? Let me help you out. You sad? Let me comfort you and hang out. Okay, that's one way you can look at it. And the answer is because that's how God chose things to be. That's how Jesus chose things to be. He came to earth at a certain time for a specific reason. I don't know the complete answer as to why he came when he did. It's not really my field. I don't get paid enough to make God's decisions. I also wouldn't want to be God because that would be really stressful. Just saying. So, yeah, he has chosen to go to heaven and be in heaven fighting for us. At some point, Jesus will walk the earth again and come back. The second coming, he will come to get us and bring us to heaven. We don't know when that's going to happen, and we don't know when we need to be ready, because we always need to be ready. Always be on guard, always be ready, because we don't know when he's going to come back. He could come back in 2 seconds, and that'd be a really interesting video, let me tell you. But we don't see him because he's chosen not to show himself this way. He doesn't walk the earth because that's just what he has chosen. So that's one way to answer it. The second is, why don't people normally see Jesus? So why are less and less people going to church, maybe? Or why are less and less people seeing the Eucharist and things like that? Well, that's a really powerful observation, especially if this was a middle schooler or a middle schooler wrote this. That's a really powerful observation to see in the world. It really is. Unfortunately, the stats are kind of depressing, that less and less people are going to church. Less and less people are belonging to parishes. And only 43% of Catholics believe the Eucharist is actually Jesus. There's a lot of factors that go into this. I don't know every family situation. I don't know every person's situation. Again, I'm not God. I don't make that choice. I can't judge. But I will say that less and less homes have Christ in it. They don't pray to God. They don't talk about God. They don't have any emphasis. They're just going through life, doing what they want to do without having Christ centered. And so when that happens, Christ does not become an importance in their life. Faith does not become an importance. And when there's no faith, you don't go to church. You don't see Jesus in the Eucharist. So unfortunately, it is a societal trend that is happening. But God does call us to evangelize. So he does call us to spread the good news of Jesus to everyone around us. So if you're seeing this and observing it, maybe God's calling you to get up and start spreading the good news and start bringing friends to youth group and start bringing friends to church and having that conversation with your family and maybe even evangelizing to your parents. I know that's weird to say, but like, there are families where parents don't even believe in God. I've had conversations with my own family where I've been like, guys, God, no, yes, prayer, maybe, I don't know. Okay, no, cool. So, and it's not an easy conversation, right? It's you never want to come up to someone and be like, do you know about Jesus? Do you know him? Oh my gosh, you should know him. Like, I would not do that. I'm just putting it out there. But it's all about relationships and having the person trust you enough to open up about these conversations. So maybe you observing this is your call to be evangelist, to go and evangelize to all of these people. So really great questions so far. Some of them are really funny. I really, middle school, love them. All right, the next one is, what is your favorite type of prayer and why? Oh, that's such a nice one. Okay, the beauty of the Catholic Church is there's literally so many forms of prayer. Now, personally for me, I am not a very proper, prayer person. I don't know how to describe that correctly, but I'm not the type to sit there and pray all of these, what are they called? Novenas, and sit there and do all these like rosaries. That's just not my forte. Rosaries and novenas are important. I'm not saying they're not important, all right? Listen, the rosary will crush anything, but they're just not my charism. It's not my thing. Music, for me, is very powerful. I very much love music and very much find prayer in that. I do a lot of praise and worship here at youth group, which, you guys have seen. And I've really grown into it and really have started to love leading worship and just freeing my soul. Like, I don't know how to say that, not weirdly, but just freeing my soul to worship God and lead others in doing that. And when I'm by myself at home, I have my own piano at home. And I play by myself and I sing to the Lord at home. I recently was given a type of prayer that I didn't know about, what has to do with music as well. It's called Lectio Music, like Lectio with music. We all know Lectio Divina with the Bible, right? So you read the Bible 3 times, and what is God telling you? And again, scripture is super important. Read the Bible, folks. Read the Bible. The whole thing where Catholics are like, we're Catholic, we don't read the Bible. Don't believe it. Read the Bible. Read it. But there's a version of Lectio with music where basically what happens is you listen to a song and you listen to the lyrics, and you do that again, like you just listen, just like Lectio with the Bible, and then you read it, you listen again. what sticks out to you, and then the third time you just praise with that phrase and ask God to like really tell you and really guide you in whatever phrase sticks out to me. Um, there's this one song that recently came out, and it's, well, maybe not recently. I think it was a year ago, by Torrin Wells. It's called "Famous For." It's a collab with a bunch of people, but it was like bopping in my head for weeks. It still is on my playlist, and the chorus goes like, shut the mouths of lions, walk me through the water, do what you are famous for. And I don't know why, but those lines just really struck me. And anytime I just like, I praise the Lord, because I'm like, it's true. After the year, almost 2 years, well, not almost, we're going to get to 2 years at some point, of this COVID stuff. It's really hard to have faith in the fact that God is going to get us through it. I'm sorry. It's been really difficult for a lot of people. Even me here at Youth Ministry, it's been hard. But those words just really like kept drumming in me, like just like what you're famous for. You're famous of getting us out of these battles and being being victorious, already victorious. So that's kind of my thing. I'm also pretty spontaneous about prayer. I just like having a conversation. I will be just like sitting somewhere and be like, hey God, today was pretty awful. Or I'll be like, oh, today was really great. Or, I'll be in my car on the way to work, and I'll just, sit in my car and be like, Lord, make today yours. Teach me how to love. Mother Mary, wrap me in your mantle, and Saint Joseph, be the terror of demons that surround me. So I'm very spontaneous with prayer. Sitting still is very hard for me. I have to work on it. If I'm being completely authentic and true here, I need to work on prayer life, and I need to work on being able to sit still. But it's hard. So my lean-to is what I like to pray is with music and kind of spontaneous stuff. So that's mine. Listen, everyone is very unique with their type of prayer and the way they like to pray. No two people pray the same way. Honestly, I really don't think. Someone might really hate music. Like really hate contemporary music. And that's okay. But maybe they like the rosary and they just pray like 50 a day. Power to you. So everyone prays a little different, okay? All right, the next two kind of go together. And before I read these, I ask that anyone who is watching this video, and if you want to make a comment or whatever, that you are respectful and you are kind. I only promote respect and kindness here. I don't want this to be a place where anyone gets slammed. No. What I'm about to read is very brave for these people to ask, for these kids to ask. Takes a big step to do that. So I just ask that you are respectful and kind and supportive. So they kind of go together, so I'm going to read both of them. Hello. Would God be upset if I wanted to change my gender? I know he made me the gender I am for a reason, but what if that reason was to change? I'm not happy with my gender. And then the other one is, hi, are you allowed to be non-binary? So this kind of wraps together the idea of gender. Okay, so we're gonna tackle gender, and in our society right now, this is a big topic. I am surrounded by gender stuff all the time. I think a lot of people mistake. They're like, well, middle schoolers, they don't know gender. They don't talk about this. Yes, they do. Younger and younger kids are being forced to try to decide what their gender is, what they're attracted to, things like that. So this is a pretty relevant issue that we need to talk about and we need to tackle. So first, I want to affirm those people, those kids, either kids or core members, I'm not really sure, who asked those questions. That is a very scary thing to just write that. Just writing it and hoping that no one knows who you are. Bravery. I just affirm you for doing that. So that's an amazing thing that you're willing to ask these questions, okay? So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Now, there are multiple parts to these questions that I want to go over. The first thing, does God get angry? Well, the thing is, God is not angry. God is not an angry God. There is nothing that we can do, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. Whoever wrote these questions or whoever is watching this video, There is nothing you can do that can take away God's love from you. He will love you no matter how far you think you have traveled. You could be completely atheist, hating him, and he will still love you. He'll be like, I love this child. I really hope they come back to me. So I don't want you to think that anything that you will do will make God mad at you, okay? Mad. Will it make him sad? Yes, it will make him sad. And I'll get into why it will make him sad, okay? Not mad, sad. So one, he will not get upset with you. He will not be angry no matter what you do because he loves you unconditionally. Think about it. He sent himself to die on the cross for every single human being that did, does, and will walk this earth. It doesn't matter what you do. It does not matter. He still loves you. Okay? And so just believe that. So just remember that. Now let's get to gender stuff. Okay? In the Bible, Genesis tells us that in Genesis 1:27, it says, I'm actually going to bring out the Bible. I know it's on the screen, but I'm just going to bring it out in the Bible. It says, God created man in his image. In the divine image, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Now, the Genesis is the first book in the Bible. Genesis is kind of about creation and the beginning of our story as humanity, okay? So from the very beginning of creation, God intended there to be, two genders, male and female. Very beginning of time. So if you're wondering what God's intention is, his intention was for us to be male and female. Our bodies are made that way. Biologically, our bodies have either male parts or female parts. It's just how we're created and is how he intended the world to be. And it's actually very powerful in the intention that he made. The intention of making male and female. Because male and females are so complementary. It's a big word, complementary. Complementary means that they fit together. They come together to make something better. They complement each other, okay? There are things about men and women that are different, and it's okay that it's different because they're really beautiful and powerful things about us that make us different. I'm different than Adam as a female, and that's okay. The reason why our office is successful is because there's two of us, and we complement each other so well. So it's okay, okay? Okay, okay. But a lot of times people make this mistake that being a male and female is based on what society tells you, okay? So you have to be a female, or you are female because you're girly, or you like boys, or all of these things that the world tells you make you a female. Well, the thing is, society norms for what a male and a female are change. If we look back to the 50s? We're going to say the 50s, okay? 50s, why not? In the 50s, women were only allowed to wear dresses. They were housewives, stayed at home, took care of the children. They didn't work, or they were just secretaries, while the man went and worked and did all this stuff. Now look at our society today. That's all over the place. Women wear pants. I'm wearing pants. It's great. So the characteristics of each gender have changed through time, okay? But the dignity of who we are as male and female does not change. So just because you are a girl who likes to wear boy clothes, hates the color pink, maybe plays the most male-dominated sport in the world, and maybe you look butch to people, like your hair's short, you don't like wearing girl clothes, it doesn't mean that you're not a girl. Honestly, you could wear, dress, act like whatever, and your gender doesn't change. I like to say this example a lot. Like for me personally, I do Taekwondo, okay? Taekwondo is a very male-dominated sport. The female participation has increased through time, but right now at my rank, there's not a lot of females around me. I got a lot of dudes. And this sport is very male dominated. And on the outside, it could seem, well, maybe Nicole thinks she's a man. Well, no. Just because I participate in a sport that is very masculine does not mean that I am a man. I'm not a man. I'm a female. So I think we need to understand that. That's the first thing you understand, is that society is going to change, and the norms that you think you are supposed to go into is not right. Okay, it does not fundamentally change who you are, who God intended you to be. Right now, the other thing you need to understand too is, this is for middle schoolers. Middle schoolers writing this. You are going through the most difficult time of your life. Middle school is awkward and difficult and hard. It is a very difficult time. You're going through emotional changes, physical, hormones, puberty. All of these things are causing a lot of feelings and a lot of emotion that is natural. I don't want you to think that like this doesn't happen to anybody. If you ask anyone over the age like of 20, 19, they'll be like, I remember that. I was the most awkward child in the world. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know what to look like. Deodorant. What was that? Listen, we've all gone through it. And it's natural. It's very natural to go through this, okay? You're not weird for not knowing or understanding your body. Like, it's normal at your age, and it's normal to be questioning these things. You may think right now that you don't identify as a male. You don't identify as a female. You don't think that you're in the right body, okay? You have to understand that your body is going through physical changes. Your brain is going through changes. Psychologically, too, you're changing. Your brain is changing. And like I said, it's not a bad thing to question this stuff now. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you are decided to make these decisions before you are fully developed, that could really hurt you in the future, right? Right now, you should just be experiencing life, talking to people who support you through this, and not making anything dramatic until you really, really know this is how you feel, right? So I do not want you to think that you have to transition now, because honestly, society is telling us that we have to decide by the time you're like a child, 12, 13, what your gender is, what you're attracted to, and they forget that puberty happens and development is happening. Your body is changing, your mind is changing, how you think and feel is changing. What you believe now might be something completely different in 6 months to a year. And I'm not even kidding. There's many stories of people who believed that they were in the wrong body and transitioned and then regretted it in their 20s. So, and there are people that truly thought they were in their incorrect body and transitioned and were fine. But I want you to stop and think and just relax and just understand that you're going through physical changes, okay? And it's okay to go through these changes, and it's okay to feel awkward, and it's okay to not know what's going on with you. You have a whole network of people to support you here at St. Greg's, your family, your parents, your friends that have your back. So, that's what's really important to remember. Now, the other cool thing is that when God made us, He thought of every single detail about you. What you like, what you're good at, what movies you like to watch, what you like to talk about, your personality. He thought of everything. And actually in Psalm 139:13, I'm going to pull it up on my handy-dandy little Bible. Sorry, hold on. It says, You formed my inmost being. You knit me in my mother's womb. So this is the thing that's super powerful, is that before you were even a blink in your family's eye, your parents' eye, God already knew you and thought about you. He already was like, I'm just using me as an example. I want Nicole to be born in 1993. I want her to be a youth minister when she's 27. And I want that. Like, he already thought of every intricate thing, what my hair color is, what my eyes are, what size my pants are. Like, he thought of everything. And even for those who don't fit the norms, if you love short hair, he thought of that. If you like to dress a little bit more masculine or feminine, he thought of that. Like, he thought of every gift and talent and every characteristic that you have. So at no point do I want you to think that what God created is bad. Because he knit us in our mother's womb. He made everything about us. He made us unique and individual and perfect for this world. And the world needs us. So if you have something going on that makes you feel different or weird or awkward, it's a gift. It's a gift, you know? One thing about me that I think, I mean, everyone knows is I'm really loud and obnoxious. And for the longest time, I was shy and I was super quiet because I was really unconfident in myself. I had a lot of body issues and I had a lot of, negative self-talk. And I would always say, oh, Nicole, you're so dumb and no one will like you. You're not pretty enough. And, oh, you're so butch. You do Taekwondo. Like, I thought all this stuff. And I was super quiet because of it. Now, luckily, when I came back to the faith, my shell went crack and hello. But sometimes even my loud energy, I get insecure about. A lot of people tell me, like, Nicole, when I first met you, you scared me. And I know I laugh at it, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I get really insecure about it. But I have to remind myself that God gave me this talent of being loud and obnoxious, and to make people feel welcoming and to welcome people into this building. And he gave me these gifts and talents, which maybe I don't necessarily like or want, but I've been given these. So God makes us all unique. We're made exactly how we're supposed to be. Physically also, right? And the thing is, I'm going to go to the next point, is like, I remember I said God never gets mad. He's never mad at us. No. No, 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 no. He's not mad. Does he get sad or disappointed? Yes. And I'll explain why. Life, as Catholics, we believe life from conception is a gift. And if we believe what Psalms says, the Psalms say, I knit you in your mother's womb. From the moment of conception, God was already creating us and creating who we're supposed to be. So our gift, our life is a gift from God. Isn't that incredible to think about? We didn't do anything to deserve it. We did nothing to deserve this gift. We don't will ourselves to be alive. We don't will ourselves to be born or created in the womb. We don't have that power. We're human beings, but you know who does? God. God willed for us to be alive, and God willed for us to be created as we are, with all of our beautiful talents, gifts, and even physical things. He willed everything, every little thing for us. Our life is a gift. Now, I'm going to use an analogy. Imagine your parent gives you a gift, or a friend gives you a gift. You take that gift and you destroy it. You straight up, it's a tennis racket, and you just smack it against the wall and it's destroyed. Now, your parent will still love you, loves you unconditionally, but they would be sad. They would be disappointed because they worked so hard to get you that gift. They may have worked overtime. If it's your friend, they may have, mowed people's lawns. They may have done all this stuff to try to get you this gift, and now you just destroyed it. Now, if we take that parallel to our life, right? When we hurt our bodies, so when we hurt the thing God created physically, it makes him sad because we hurt the gift he gave us. And what I mean by that is transitioning, okay? This is kind of controversial, I know, but when we change our gender, when we change our gift that God gave us, we are hurting it. We do hurt it. Something has to be destroyed. A part has to be destroyed in order for something new to be made. And God is sad because he worked so hard to make you perfectly the way you are. And that's kind of the answer for why he's so sad about it. Now, if you feel, one of the questions said, if you feel that your reason was to change, I I don't think that's correct, because God doesn't want us to change, right? He doesn't want us to change our physical being, right? And like I said, you might be working through this and it's going to take time to figure it out. And God does not want us to hurt the gift he gave us, okay? The other thing that's super important is there isn't a lot of specifics given by the Catholic Church about this, all right? There's no like specific doctrine. But the one thing that the church has told us from day one as Catholics is we have to be loving, respectful, and every single human being has dignity, has this dignity that cannot be taken away. So whether you are the person that wrote this question or you have a friend who wrote this question and you want to help them, there is no judgment upon you. If this is something you are dealing with, bravery for writing it down, let me tell you. But know that there is a whole community here to help you through it and to work through it. And whatever decision you come upon, you will still be loved and cared for, and you are welcome in the church no matter what, right? You are welcome. So the church tells us, now this is a different angle. I want you to think if you are the person experiencing this, from the outside. So like your friend is dealing with it, a family member, whatever. I think a lot of times what will happen is Catholics will come down very harsh on people. And God teaches us to be merciful, to have merciful love. I just did a consecration on this, and it was super powerful. If you want to learn about merciful love, do 33 days to merciful love, and your brain will explode. Because God has this abundance of love that like he just wants to give to everyone. And we're called to emulate that, to do that too. So someone you know is dealing with this. The first thing the church says is you have to love them. You have to love them, you have to respect them, and you have to walk with them on this faith journey, because it is a journey figuring this out. They're not supposed to be discriminated upon. They're not supposed to be left in the dark. They're supposed to be loved and cared for. Anyone who's dealing with an issue, but also gender issues, they're supposed to be loved and taken care of, okay? And anyone who's dealing with this is dealing with a lot emotionally, physically, like brain, like they're dealing with a lot. So we have to love them and to take care of them. We're called to love. And that's that. So that was my first Q&A. I hope it was everything you hoped and dreamed. And I'll see you next time for whatever the middle schoolers write on their question cards. Peace out, y'all!